Welcome back to Superman and Lois TV Talk. This is our episode for the Season 1, Episode 3, The Perks of Not Being a Wallflower. My name is Frank.
And my name is Robin.
And our buddy Derek Russell is... Derek is missing, much like the Derek from this episode.
Yeah, it's strange. This episode, he had posters with his name on it. He's definitely missing. So.
Yeah, weird. No, just kidding. He's on assignment. He's working on an investigative journalism story, even though we don't have the resources for that kind of thing here at the Smallville Gazette, but he insisted, so we had to let him go.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But he'll be back.
There's something about a mine. I have no idea. The Kawachi Caves.
I don't really understand. Yeah. He says a lot of things. But anyway, just me and Robin this week, here to recap the perks of not being a wallflower. And getting right into it, we have some news. Like, we have some breaking news that impacts everyone listening to the show, and that is that Superman and Lois is going on hiatus at the end of March.
Already. So disappointing.
Just a few weeks in, and they're already hitting pause.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a result of COVID, a result of there being some cases on set, I believe, and so having to shut things down for the time being. Supergirl will be coming in at the end of March and taking Superman and Lois's slot for 8 weeks. So little cross plug for Supergirl TV Talk if that's your thing.
That's right. If you want Frank in your ears for the next few months, just subscribe to both these feeds.
And to be switching off whenever one show's not on, the other one is. So Supergirl will be starting its 6th and final season on March 30th, and then it'll take its own break in May when Superman and Lois will return. So I'll be around either way.
I'll be around.
I'll always be around. But there is good news. As much as we're going to be bummed when this show goes on hiatus temporarily, there is good news that Deadline is reporting that we the season is off to a really strong start.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I mean, we got the second season right off the bat, but then we get these numbers that according to Nielsen, the pilot was the most streamed series premiere in the network's history.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It makes sense. They're really pushing the CW app really hard, and they're especially with like the extended cuts being on there and everything, which they're making it sound like the extended cuts are only available on the CW app, but they are coming through on like Apple TV and stuff too, right? Like if you have a season pass to purchase the episodes, as far as we can tell, it seems like you're getting the extended cuts there too. But they're marketing it really well for the app, and so it makes sense that it's the most streamed because they're pushing it hard. I think they've figured out that this audience is going to watch it delayed.
I mean, it's Superman.
It's Superman.
The most recognized symbol. Next to the cross.
That's what they say. Say that the two most recognizable symbols in the world are the Christian cross and the Superman S.
But it is confusing though. I mean, they keep saying extended editions on the CW app. They don't mention any other ways of getting it. So I was at first kind of angry because I'm like, hey, I bought a season pass. What are you talking about? I did this so I could avoid those CW app ads. Sure. But it does seem like we're getting them. We're getting extended editions.
I guess, putting on my advertising hat for a second, put on the day job hat, I guess it makes sense because like they get to keep a bigger cut of the ad revenue than they do of the sales, perhaps, because they have to give 30% to Apple or 30% to Amazon or whatever for each of those downloads, but maybe they get a bigger cut from the advertising, so it's worthwhile for them to be like, stream it on our app where we give you ads. And keep it in their little in their ecosystem. But it is a really promising start to the season that it has had such huge numbers for the premiere, and then the fact that we're already season 2 is already greenlit and all that stuff. Like it's things are coming up. Things are coming up Smallville. Um,
Yeah, they really are.
yeah. So tell me about a certain comic book reader who agrees with you. What's this Superman and Lois theory?
Well, I did mention in, I believe, either our pilot episode or the Heritage episode, my theory about, well, actually, it wasn't a Heritage episode because Clark took Jordan to the fortress, had him tested without his brother around. And according to holograms or Grandpappy, whatever you want to call him this week,
I still love holograms.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and actually, it's funny because I've started to be on Instagram more often, and I've just been calling it Instagrams.
Yes.
I mean, it's a whole thing.
I would argue you are the Instagrams on Instagram.
It's not the age; it's the what is it?
How you use it?
Okay.
No,
It's an Indiana Jones quote. Wrong franchise. Okay, so comic book reader, a comic book website actually put out an article that said that there's a big Superman and Lois theory that the twins are only powerful when they're around each other. And I was just like, oh, well, I'm not sure if they're listeners, but I guess I'm kind of glad the theory's out there and they agree with me. Not that I'm thinking that I can come up with something that nobody else has ever thought of, but it was kind of cool to see that.
Oh no, you don't give yourself enough credit. You are definitely the first person to ever think of this, and we should claim it right here, right now on this podcast.
Okay, that is our theory, or my theory.
I'm making a line in the sand right here and now.
Okay, well, yeah. I didn't realize that you were going to use that to make a line in the sand, but
this is the hill I'm willing to die on.
Wow.
It's been a weird year. My priorities are out of whack.
There's one final thing in our little news segment. It was not really news. Bitsy, of course, who plays Lois, was on Twitter on the night when they're all live tweeting, and just want to let everybody know that if you follow us on Twitter, I've been live tweeting Superman and Lois when it airs on the East Coast. Unfortunately, none of us are really on the West Coast to help out with that. But anyway, that night, Bitsy actually put out a poll. She wanted to know what the Superman and Lois fandom name is. She said that her last big show that she was on was Grimm, and so the fandom for that was the Grimsters. And so she put out a poll. She put out a poll that the choices were Superfam, Kryptonians, Kryptonites, and Kryptonians. And I was kind of I was thinking, okay, Kryptonians, that seems like a Krypton fan. Yeah,
that's true.
I don't know, knights implying what? I don't know.
Yeah.
Dark Knights. I don't nah, let's stay away from that. And then she kind of short-circuited the choice of Kryptonians because she's like, remember, Lois kept her maiden name. So if you're a Kryptonian, I don't know if that kind of applies to all of us. I still think of them as the Kent family, whatever. More like the Kent Lane family, I guess.
Yeah.
So it came down to poll one. The listener, her followers picked Superfam. So I'm assuming that's what we're going for.
I think so. I guess we are part of the Superfam. And the funny thing too is she's been using hashtag Superfam for months. Like she's been talking about the crew and calling them her Superfam.
Yeah.
So she's clearly got a sweet spot or a soft spot in her heart for that name, and I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool that that she's sticking with it. So. Yeah, the poll bears it out. By the way, I'm putting links to everything Robin just mentioned, all the stuff about the hiatus, all the stuff about this Wonder Twins theory, and a link to Bitsy's poll. I'm putting it all in the show notes for this episode, so you can check it all out.
Cool.
At supermantvtalk.com or in your podcast app if your app shows the show notes.
All right. Well, without further ado, we should get into the episode with so much to talk about. The perks of not being a wallflower. Of course, that is that's a what? I can't say homage, but
It's a
there is a
reference.
young. Yeah, it's a reference to a teen romance movie that I haven't seen called The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and I guess it has the DCEU's Flash is one of the stars of it, Ezra
Yeah,
Miller.
Ezra Miller and Emma Watson in that one.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I never saw it.
Me neither.
It's it's directed by the episode rather, not the movie, is directed by Gregory Brown, who was actually one of the stars of Everwood. I don't know if anybody watched Everwood on the WB, but I never did. But he ends up being a director afterwards. He's directed episodes of Arrow, Flash, Legends, Supergirl, and most importantly, part 5 of Crisis on Infinite Earths was directed by Gregory Brown. And what is the famous quote from the end of that one, Frank?
Boys.
Boys. So I think that's pretty cool. And also it's written by Brent Fletcher, who directed episodes of Angel, Lost, Agents of Shield, Spartacus, and Friday Night Lights. So
Are you getting it yet?
maybe maybe he helped out a little bit with the whole football plot.
I
So
think that's a definite possibility.
okay, so why don't we talk about the A plot? The one that's taking up the most most air in this episode. It is the whole discussion of Clark and his abilities, and juxtaposed with the boys and
Boys.
the football.
Sorry.
The boys. So I thought it was cool that this episode kind of starts with a great Kent family moment, the paint fight.
I love that moment. That was so much fun. That was just such we need more of that, don't we? Like in a time like this when things are like so bleak, I just needed like some sort of pure, clean family fun, like them just fooling around and like they love each other and they're just like a really sweet family unit, and it was cute to see.
I like when Jordan gets in on it by going after Clark, and then Clark does this thing. He Clark is a trained fighter, so he grabs Jordan and kind of holds him by his wrists from behind. And I was thinking, oh, he must have used that move on Metallo.
Yeah, right. He knows how to neutralize somebody, right? He's like,
Right.
go right for the pressure points. Yeah. No, it was such a fun moment. And then the second that he hears that there's trouble in China, off he goes. He doesn't bother to hide it from the kids.
Yeah, big a little trouble in Big China.
Hey.
Hey-oh. Yeah, and it's interesting because right here is where I kind of came to, I don't know, like a breaking point, or I don't know, like a moment where I was like,
that bridge came to a breaking point.
Where I started thinking, is he just listening all the time? Is he tuned into some sort of band in his super hearing?
It's the emergency band radio. He's just got that going.
I thought it was cool that they end up addressing it later.
Yeah, and it's sort of a different explanation I think than we've heard of super hearing before. Like it's been done before that like he can hear so many things and he needs to learn how to focus it. Like that's been done before, but the idea that he could hear everything like in the world at once, essentially, and that he needs to, he's able to focus in on where he's needed most, or where the fluctuations are the most, I think is how they put it. That's interesting that he could theoretically hear everything all the time. That's a more powerful super hearing than I'm used to, I think.
Yeah. On one hand, I'm like, oh, that sounds super convenient. No pun intended.
Yeah.
The pun is totally intended. But then again, gosh, imagine how mad you would go.
I know. Imagine how much more important it is to have that control and be able to tune things out. Which he said it took him years of practice in the Fortress to tune it out.
Yeah. I like that idea. I like the idea that, he is up at probably the quietest place on earth to calm that down. Years in the Fortress. Interesting.
Another detail I liked is that when he got to China and he saves the guy from the bridge, he's still got paint on his hands. Like I love that they tied that together, and like he's looking, he's like, oh no, I got paint on the bridge. I love that little moment. And even like the little laugh that he shares with the guy he saves. Like it's just like it's a joyful like start to an episode, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I love these Superman moments, the friendliness toward the common man, and and the score that's playing underneath. It's so like triumphant, like, and also, I've noticed here we are in China, like it's international. This show, like he just shoots off to wherever. Have we had a Metropolis save yet? I don't think so.
That's a good point. I don't think we have yet. I don't think we have yet. It's true. We definitely do see Superman like jetting around the world to make saves in other media, but you don't see it a ton in like you don't see it a ton in TV and movies, frankly.
Right.
Oftentimes we're very focused on like whatever the freak of the week is or the baddie of the season. And we're not seeing him do little saves, all over the country or all over the world. And that's some of my favorite stuff. That's some of my, like you said, like his just sort of friendliness towards the common man. Like,
yeah,
his getting to interact with the common man depends on like going around the world and going around the country and going to all different places. And it's cool to see this. Like they're making a point to keep those moments in here.
Yeah. It's funny that, the world may look up to him, as a god, like in the Snyder movies, but then again, he's got this whole friendly front to him that whenever you run into him, he's just like, he's a cool dude. He's super nice.
Yeah. I mean, he is like a man of the people in the truest sense.
Yeah. Some fun facts about this scene that I looked up. This is the Pingtang Bridge. This is the second tallest bridge in the world, and it actually opened recently. It was opened December of 2019. So, and yeah, it's the second tallest bridge. There's one in France that's just like 49 feet taller. The fisherman, Frank, I thought you might be interested. This is the guy is played by C. Douglas Kwan, who played Mr. Lee in the Midvale episode of Supergirl.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. I love that. Not the only person.
It could be Mr. Lee on vacation.
Could be. Not the only person this episode who has appeared in another CW show. We'll talk about that.
Right.
Let's talk about this whole runner through the episode of the twins in football, because I love the way that they approach this thing where like Jordan's still trying to hang out with Sarah. He's trying to see if he's got a shot with Sarah, but like Sean is in the picture and Sean's giving him a hard time. And so what does he do? He joins the football team so that he can like just pulverize Sean, like in his own. Like I love where Sean and his buddy are like, stay in your lane, which like lane.
Yeah.
Lane. Yeah. Why did you say that name? But
talking about my mom.
Yeah. Come on. But then like when they're at football practice and Jordan's like, this is my lane now.
So cool. I mean, of course your trepidatious because this can't go right. Somebody's going to get hurt. And I am also worried about, Jordan, power corrupting with Jordan.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he has that moment where he's backed up against the locker and his eyes go red for a second. He's like, it looks like he's sort of trying to hold it back, or he's sort of like in this weird trance state where he's like between
that was
activating
weird.
The powers and not. I kind of took that as that's how he's like, that's him like trying to hold it back, but
hold it back. Yeah.
And then the way that Clark really is listening all the time and really is hearing everybody, and he just comes in and does the dorky dad thing to like to a genius degree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, fellow kids.
Yes, it was so Buscemi. Oh, it was so great.
Mm-hmm.
So now we've got they called heat vision. They called super hearing.
Yes. I'm so happy because I was worried like we're going to constantly talk about like ocular discharge. and then I don't know that then he starts saying this whole thing about fluctuations taking place in the collective sound frequency, and but immediately after is talking about super hearing.
I know.
So
I actually kind of like that though, where the first time we talk about a power, he kind of gives the scientific name for it or something. You know, it's almost like he's like, oh yes, Dr. Hamilton told me it was called this, but I call it this. Yeah, yes, he said ocular discharge, but heat vision sounds better.
right. Well, I expect that he learned everything about his powers from Jor-El to begin with. And Jor-El's a scientist, so Jor-El probably used a lot of big words.
That's true. That's true. He's probably like, the holograms is probably like, son, you will have ocular discharge from your pupils, and he's like, yeah, you mean the heat vision? Yeah, I already had that at high school. Yeah, that was awkward when I burned down the gym, but thanks for telling me now.
So I did look up Sean's crew on IMDb, and just so you know, the kid that was pushing Jordan around is named Timmy, and the guy that's in a sling, I'm assuming from what happened in the pilot, that kid's name is Tag.
Tag.
Tag. So I guess hold on to that. I don't know. Or not.
Timmy and Tag. Tag and Timmy. Yeah. The tag team. I don't know.
Tag team.
Yeah.
Back again.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess Short Stack is officially going to be Jordan's name now, because that seems to be sticking.
Yeah. Sean, I think, used it.
I think so. Yeah, more than once.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to stick. But I do like these moments we get where Clark and Lois like check in with each other, and like she was talking to him about the super hearing, like, hey, you remember how I reacted when I found out you were listening all the time? And
oh my gosh, did you see the look on her face? Like, that was not a good time for them.
No, that was a rocky period for them.
I'm assuming, he said something about having to woo her for like 2 weeks, and it was really only because she was in love with him that she decided to take him back. But
sounds like a real close call there. Like, if they weren't, if it had happened maybe earlier in the relationship that she'd figured that out, maybe they wouldn't have made it. But because they were already, she loved him so much already, it was like, all right, I forgive you, but you gotta stop. And he did, and then he made the same promise to the boys.
And I don't mean to be gushy, but boy, I am loving these two, their relationship, and even just the fact that they still have these romantic feelings towards each other. 2 years or 14 years, who knows?
Yeah,
after they first started.
Yeah, it's true.
So every scene with them alone, and twice in this episode, it was up and away time. They are always relaxing with a little bit of red wine.
I love that. I love. I'm sipping some red wine right now in their honor, and I love that.
Well,
that they do that.
It's obviously a setup, so Clark is going to get dosed with red kryptonite, and he won't know it. So
I like that theory. I'd like to. That's red K juice. Interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see what else happened.
What about that diner scene?
Oh, the diner scene, the one where
Victoria Mays.
Yeah, what is the deal with that name? I wasn't sure if that was a reference to something or
it feels like it's significant, but maybe that's just us like over analyzing. I don't know. Maybe a listener. I just don't know. It is.
Yeah. It just seems like you would just call your diner Ron's Diner or something like that. Victoria Mays.
Victoria May. I don't know. Victoria Lodge. I don't know. But the and that's Veronica Lodge. Never mind. I am an idiot.
Yes.
The fact that Jordan not only does he lie to Clark, but he tries to throw it to Jonathan, like, oh, he had a great day of practice today, huh? And just completely cover up the fact that he's joining the team, and using his powers to fight back at the guys who were bullying him, essentially. It's such an interesting reversal of like the Smallville problem where it's like, Dad, I want to join the football team. And he's like, no, because you might hurt somebody. He's like, but I won't use my powers at all. It's like, nope, you never know. You might still use them. And on this show, it's like, I'm going to secretly join the team and intentionally use my powers to like show the guys who are giving me a hard time, show them who's boss.
Mm-hmm.
And go to their arena literally and like terrorize them in like their comfortable place. Wow. Like what a reversal of that dynamic.
Well, Jordan definitely knows how to play his dad's words against himself. I mean, because he then used the whole thing where Clark is listening in, and you know he didn't mean it, and then like he said he didn't mention that he was listening in on them, but it was kind of like a certain point of view kind of argument, like, well, I didn't mention it, but yes, I am.
Yeah, that's a great comparison.
So now Jordan is joining the football team and didn't mention it to his father, and it's like, well, you did the same thing. What, you know?
Yeah, what's good enough for you is good enough for me, right? Like you're if you can do it, why can't I do it? I've got your powers, and I'm gonna obfuscate the truth the same way you do. Here you go.
Yeah, that whole moment where he freaks out on Clark, that was a moment where I was like, oh, Jordan's pushing my buttons a little bit, but I have to, it took, a moment. And of course, Lois coming out to Clark and being like, he doesn't mean all of that, what he said, I mean, he was just like, everything you do is a mistake. You got fired. You moved us here. Why don't you not come around here anymore? Like,
I liked it better when you weren't around. Like, yikes.
And oh God, Clark right there, just go upstairs.
Sends him to his room immediately.
Right now. And Jonathan, like, I'm with you guys.
I know, what is so funny? He's like, yeah, I'm definitely on your side. He's like, yeah, you too. You're going to your room too.
Another fun Jordan thing is he calls out Morrissey. This episode, I was like, holy cow.
Yeah, I know.
But he is a xenophobic husband. I agree with Jordan.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Yeah.
Love some early Smiths. Do not like anything he said in the past. I don't know. 20 years maybe.
Yeah, valid. But I do like the way that they kind of resolve the Clark and Jordan thing, where they level out in a place where Clark's like, all right, if this is like going to be good for you, you can play, but I'm going to be the assistant coach. And I'm going to be there to like make sure that I can intervene if anything goes wrong. Which is it's an interest, again, like they keep doing these very interesting things where they're flipping dynamics or they take a well-worn trope or well-worn story element. In this case, it's like the idea of like a helicopter parent who needs to like watch their child and make sure everything's fine, but like he has legitimate cause. He's there to make sure. So he's sort of helicopter parenting in a sense, but it's like but out of defense for who Jordan might hurt, so he's there to like make sure no one gets hurt. And that Jordan can have his outlet at the same time. And it's Lois gave him that advice, like, figure out what's at the root of all this anger and angst and pain, and maybe that will help you, sort of navigate the situation with him. And so he's like, all right, if what you need is an outlet, and if this is a good outlet for you, you can do it. I'm just going to be there to make sure no one gets hurt. And if we agree on those conditions, then you can do it.
God, that moment right before commercial where Jordan knocks down Sean, helps him up. They kind of make up. And then he looks across the field. There's Clark standing there with his arms. I was like, man, please, I can't help sometimes to think of Smallville. And John Schneider is Pa Kent, but that was a total like Pa Kent move right there.
100%, 100%. And don't you love that? Like, I
Yeah.
personally, I love to see that like Clark has become that kind of a father now, and we get to see Superman being the Jonathan Kent at this. Like that's so freaking cool to me. And he even the way that he negotiated this with Jordan, where he's like, all right, but I'm gonna be there, and if anything goes wrong, I'm gonna intervene. That seems like a very sort of like tough love, but sort of like stern but fair way of like, all right, I'm gonna let you have this, but like you get one shot, and if you mess up once, it's over, and I'm gonna be there to make sure that nothing goes wrong. I feel like a very Jonathan sort of compassionate, but leading with firmness. There's some you can definitely see where Jonathan Kent's parenting got passed on to Clark.
Yeah, I mean it's weird. I didn't expect it to go this way, but I'm glad it did because it's different than what we've seen before. But I mean, Jonathan had real good reason to worry about Clark playing football. And maybe it's the fact that Clark has powers and he can intervene in a split second.
Yeah.
That makes the difference. Because, Jonathan, Pa Kent is sitting in the bleachers, can't do anything if all of a sudden Clark
he couldn't stop
handicap
Clark.
Somebody.
He can't stop Clark if he wants to, right? Like he can't physically stop him. But in this case, Clark can stop Jordan if he needs to.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe that's the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good observation. That's true. So I love the way that they leave that. And I love the way that Clark like signs up to be assistant coach. And he's such a dork. He's being such a good, hats off to Tyler this whole episode for playing the dork so well with like pretending he can't carry stuff. And like, even like just a little, like the way he messes around with Jordan at the end where he's like, okay, Dad, now pretend you can't pick this up without my help. And he's like, am I overdoing it? Am I doing too much? All right, cool.
Hurt his back.
Yeah.
Ugh. When he comes out and says, hey, Coach gave me a jacket and I bought a hat.
Well, like what a dork, what a loser. But like it's so lovable and so delightful. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Any other thoughts on this A plot?
Oh, a few of them, honestly. We can't talk about Clark making that decision without giving some props to young Jonathan Kent and how he at first is like, hey, football is my thing. What are you doing? You're just, what are you trying to prove or whatever, And then he sees that, yeah, sure, Jordan is like angry. He's in his video games and stuff. And he looks over and he sees that, yeah, but he's got a playbook sitting there. So he's taken this seriously. And there is a text message lighting up from, a student saying, hey, let's go over plays. So it's something that he's doing other than just sitting in his room by himself, miserable and playing video games.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So Jonathan like goes down to Clark and I love that he, number one, Jordan calls Jor-El Grandpappy and Elsa's ice castle.
Yes.
And then Jonathan like raised the stakes by calling him Jor-El DeBarge, which I gotta laugh. But he tells Clark that this isn't just him lashing out. This he's been happy. So maybe you should kind of pay attention to that part of it. And then he says the thing of like, what's the point of having something special if you're not actually allowed to be special? I wasn't sure if I kind of bought that line though. Like it's kind of like, yeah, but there's a reason why we're covering out to be safe, to protect the family. Like Clark even says earlier in this episode, like people find out everything changes.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any normal life anymore for them.
Right. So. Right. Everything changes for the whole family. And it was a really good conversation too of like, we're not afraid you're going to post it online. We're afraid that like little things you do without thinking about them could give it away. And if enough things add up, that can give it away. Someone can build a case and figure it out.
Right. Right.
It's like a million little things can add up. It's a tricky situation.
I don't know. Yeah. And I mean, I guess I guess I kind of handed to Clark for being able to like let go a little bit, let it go, Elsa, and um, allow Jordan to play. But I
Sure.
mean, I was actually kind of thinking about something from my own life. You know, I'm a dad, and I have a daughter who's 9, and it was a nice day the other day, and neighbor kid was out playing basketball, and they have the court. They set up the hoops so it's on the side of the road. So this kid is constantly like in the middle of the road shooting hoops, and you know nothing's bad has happened.
Sure.
But then my daughter is like, "Can I go out and play with him?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm just not comfortable with that. You're in the
Yeah,
road."
that's fair.
like, uh, and so at one point it's like, are you being too much of a helicopter parent, or do you realize that if something bad happened, like life would change forever?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
is it worth it?
Is it worth
So,
it? Is it worth it? Could you forgive yourself? Like, is it worth the risk?
right.
Yeah.
So, and these are just the things that every day as a parent you have to go through and weigh. And I can't imagine if there was secrets and superpowers involved as well, you know?
Adds a whole
Um,
other layer. But that's the fun thing about this show. It's the interesting thing about the show. The show, it's a different angle, and
mhm.
we've already seen like, well, what if parenting decisions, but with superpowers, and now it's like, what if parenting decisions, but everyone has superpowers?
Yeah, yeah, right. The other thing I want to mention is a little bit of trivia here. I just naturally assumed that Clark Kent played football when he was a high schooler, but we find out when he's talking to Jordan that he really loved playing baseball. He really wanted to play baseball,
Mm-hmm.
and he and Pa Kent actually wouldn't let him play. And so it's just over 20 years later, he's still thinking about playing baseball, how he could have played baseball. And I mean, I got to say, when Jordan figures out it's about a girl and Clark's like, it's always about a girl. that's just that's just classic. Um, but I'm not sure if everybody knows this. There's a connection to baseball with Tyler Hecklin. Tyler played baseball since he was 7, all the way into his college years. In college, he even prioritized baseball over acting. I don't know if anybody remembers, but Tyler got an early start in acting, playing opposite Tom Hanks in Road to Perdition. Um,
Right.
so yeah, so acting was always in his life, but he'd always prioritized baseball over it. And according to Wikipedia, he turned down an audition for Francis Ford Coppola once. He had the opportunity of playing one of the big roles in the Twilight series, and he kind of turned that down because he really loved playing baseball in college. In fact, when he was recurring on the show Seventh Heaven, they ended up filming around his baseball schedule, which is crazy.
Wow.
But I guess in junior year of college, he pulled a hamstring. And so we decided to start pursuing acting. And then all of a sudden he's on Teen Wolf. And then even he did a movie called Everybody Wants Some. It's a Richard Linklater film, and it's all about baseball. So baseball is a big thing to Tyler. And I'm sure that the writers knew that and kind of said, Clark doesn't have to be a ex-football high school.
Right.
He could have been and of course, the whole thing where Clark wasn't able to do this and now Jordan does, that kind of plays into it too. So
Yeah. I kind of there's something that feels
interesting.
kind of fitting about that, with it being America's pastime and all. There's something very fitting that like that's the sport that that Superman wanted to play, but his dad wouldn't let him. There's something really fitting about that. Football too. Football obviously, because that is like
Yeah.
like sort of the modern day American sort of sport of choice. But for the longest time it was baseball, and there's something that just feels
Mhm.
right about that for Superman to be the one who was like, that's my favorite.
And of course, images of Clark Kent sending that baseball into the sky, and was that Superman 4?
Yeah, there you go.
um, but it does make me think, like, really, Jonathan, like baseball, like I can understand full contact American football.
Right.
Maybe you don't want your supercharged kid playing that. But I mean, you hit the ball with the bat, you run, normal speed. That's what danger is that,
I wonder if the argument could be made that like he's not going to hurt anybody as easily as he would in football, but like what about the temptation to hit the ball a little farther, and
Right.
give yourself a big head because you're always hitting the 500 footers or whatever. There's something that I could see a classic Jonathan Kent being like, a man's word is his bond, and like if you can't be honest about how far you're hitting the ball, then what can you be honest? I could kind of see that kind of an argument being made by a certain brand of Jonathan Kent. I don't know. That's just me. A certain Pa Kent. I love. Do you want to talk about Lois's plot in this episode?
Yeah, let's do it.
I love that she's at the Smallville Gazette and she's like the star reporter and Christy, the editor,
the only reporter.
Christy is lucky to have her, and she's still doubting Lois Lane. Like she's like, I don't know about all this, Lois. It's like, first of all, Lois should have your job. That's number one.
Yeah. But I do like the idea that Christy isn't just this pushover.
Yes.
She's challenging her a little bit. She ends up being wrong in the end, but at least, she's not just she idolizes Lois from the sounds of it, but yet, she's still professional enough to challenge any sort of wild theories.
She's trying to keep her editor hat on and sort of stay level-headed about it, even though she's a big fan.
Yeah. So, and then this was actually where the plot started for Lois's side of the story. Was the whole thing where Christy is asking her if she'd like to interview the keynote speaker for the Smallville Harvest Festival. I was thinking about that, like when she took the job at the Smallville Gazette, like, okay, Lois, sure, you can expose Edge, but the newspaper has other stories it needs to run. So should we expect Lois to start having to do kind of stuff that is not her brand, as she says?
Right.
So
yeah. Not her brand.
In this episode, she doesn't, but maybe we'll see something in the future where, she's interviewing somebody who won the lotto or
right. Or like Lois used to do in the early days of the radio show and stuff. She was like answering the relationship advice column because like, well, you're a girl, you can do this.
Right. I don't know if we ever mentioned this, but Christy's last name is Beppo.
Christy Beppo.
And Beppo is Beppo the super monkey, one of the legion of super pets.
That's a fun Easter egg. I love that.
It's so funny because in your last podcast, Shoe Krypton, one of the catchphrases was Sippos. People might not know that one of the actors that played.
It was Sean.
The show's.
Yeah, I know it's been a minute. But it was Sean Sippos who played Adam Strange.
So now, Adam Strange. There we go. So now we have Christy Beppo, and I always want to say Beppo whenever she comes up.
Beppo.
And I did some research on Beppo the super monkey. I'm not going to get into it, but I thought it was hilarious that it says in the biography of Beppo that he was retconned out of existence by Crisis.
True,
I don't know what happened in Crisis, but they took the time to take out the super monkey.
Well, in the original Crisis that they were talking about, I think that he just didn't exist anniemore after, like, they just were no more.
I'm assuming there was like a panel or something. We saw the monkey get wiped out.
Yeah, like the antimatter wave takes out the monkey.
Sharon Powell comes to the Smallville Gazette, and that's another great little Easter egg. The casting of Jill Teed as Sharon Powell, Jill playing Maggie Sawyer from Smallville.
Love it.
So, I was hoping she'd have a little bit bigger of a role, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, I kind of hope so too, but
maybe she'll show up again. Also, so she's looking for her son, who's missing, and his name is Derek.
Derek,
and
if you're out there, if you can hear me, blink twice. But this is audio, so it's not really going to help. But still, blink twice, because that's what they tell you to do. So, let's do it, I guess.
But Derek, while on assignment, did send us a message asking about this part of the plot. Derek is missing. Sharon's Derek is missing because he got a job. It was an opportunity of a lifetime, quote unquote, and then left a voicemail. I was like, actually, it wasn't what I thought. I just wanted to say I love you. And then that's like the last time she heard from her son. But Derek writes in, listener Derek writes in, Edge's strip mining. Is he looking for kryptonite? Is the reason he abandoned New Carthage, Granville, the others is because he found no kryptonite in Smallville is next on the list. Yeah, I'm thinking mining is definitely a sign. Like, what else could somebody in a Superman property be mining for other than kryptonite, right?
Yeah, definitely. It did occur to me that like maybe the reason that Edge is so intent on like buying up so much of Smallville specifically and like buy the bank, getting controlling interest in the bank so that he can get controlling interest of like Martha remortgaged the house, right? Like, what if he could take the farm from her because he knows that the ship is probably there? Like, how much does he know, and how much of what he knows is driving what he's doing? Like, is he looking for kryptonite? Is he looking for the ship? And he's trying to get like there's so many layers to it. I think Derek is right that he's looking for kryptonite. I think you're right that like what else would he be looking for in a Superman property? Maybe he's aware that there's more than one kind of kryptonite. And he's trying to see what he can find. Like he's looking for some blue or gold or red.
This show was kind of unclear though, in at least the quick flashbacks to Clark arriving on Earth. Like, in Smallville, there was a meteor shower. So obviously we know that there's kryptonite all over the place. Gave us lots of freaks of the week.
Sure.
So was there a meteor shower? Like, was there a reason why kryptonite is seen here? Yeah.
You're right. I mean, yeah, there's no indication of any meteor shower. So you're right to say that like, why would there be kryptonite? But I guess that's why they're mining for it and not looking for it like on the surface, right? Maybe they're looking for it because it's like an element that's naturally occurring, or I don't know.
I was actually rewatching Heritage, I believe, and you saw Captain Luthor's display, and he's looking for kryptonite, and it looks to me like he had the element for Krypton in the lower left-hand corner.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if maybe they're doing a little bit of a different take on it. I don't know, like, or maybe it's pieces of Krypton, but maybe also the element Krypton here on Earth has some property. I don't know. Maybe I'm maybe I'm
who knows,
putting too much stock in that. But yeah, I mean, if they're mining for it, maybe he has reason to think Morgan Edge is not going to spend as much money as he is if he doesn't think he's going to find something.
Mm-hmm. And Derek definitely raises up an alert here that maybe we should be looking for, is that Edge's interest in perhaps kryptonite is probably there's somebody else on this show is constantly looking for kryptonite, and that would be Captain Luthor. So maybe they could strike an alliance. Maybe they're already aligned and we don't know yet.
That would be very interesting and very cool. Very cool to see.
Mm-hmm. Oh, another fun fact, the guy who plays Derek in the missing poster, his name is Clayton James, and I just wanted to mention he co-starred in a TV movie called As Good as It Gets.
Cool. So you'll be watching that and reviewing that next week on the podcast?
Yeah, bonus episode. It's going to be, it's going to be pretty cheesy. Pretty cheesy.
Oh. Yeah. Well done. Bravo.
Oh, well, okay. Sorry. Let's get back on track. Edge Intercorp also. Intercorp, Intergang?
Yeah, that's a reference.
Okay. I'm not as up on all the comic book mythology, so I wasn't sure if Intercorp
that feels
is
like
related to it.
That feels like a reference to me. It feels like we're just one like little click away from that. So 1 degree away. So I feel like that's as close as it's going to get, as good as it's going to get with that reference.
Yeah, I mean, I can
stringing
imagine,
us along. They're stringing us along.
The string cheesing us along.
Mm-hmm. They just gotta get it together.
But enough about the Swiss.
They want to keep making that cheddar.
You can't keep doing this to me. I'm immediately thinking cheese.
I'm just gonna mention go.
Now I'm feeling blue. I was gonna make a joke about oh yeah. Here's the other joke I was gonna make. Edge Intercorp takes over Smallville. Kyle ends up working for them, and ends up like getting into a fight after like during some sort of mining thing or whatever. And right then and there is where Kyle's gonna look up and be like, Intercorp, more like an inner gang.
Hey.
Anyway.
I do wonder. I do think there's probably gonna be some kind of an inner gang reference at some point.
Yeah. Another reference. Did you notice on Christie's door it said W Dodge editor?
I noticed that, and I was trying to figure out what that was a reference to. I don't know.
No
it didn't. It was so prominent that I thought it must be something, but I couldn't figure out who W Dodge would have been. I don't think it's a comic character. I wonder if it's more of one of those things where, like, you know, meet me on the corner of Russell and Glosson. Like, it was one of those sort of things where it's like something for a friend of the writers or something, you know?
Right. So yeah, Lois's station wagon gets set on fire.
Boom.
And it's set on fire. Like at first I thought, oh, somebody put threw a Molotov cocktail in there, like Clark says later.
Yeah.
Not your first Molotov cocktail. But as we see at the end of the episode, no, this was probably a ocular discharge. Oh God, I said it again.
You said gross. It. Gross. On a family show too.
Oh yeah. Then, which of course leads Lois to talking to Kyle and being like, no, I'm not saying it was Morgan Edge, but it's definitely Morgan Edge. Morgan Edge came right out and set my car on fire.
And Kyle's all like, now, you have no proof. And she's like, I was literally just investigating him. Like someone just spoke to a whistleblower. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, but you can't prove it. Even Christy's like, unconfirmed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Lois has got a Lois, which means that she takes off to New Carthage in the middle of the night to a shady looking hotel, sees a door that is kicked in and walks right in. I mean, she's cautious, but still it's like, hey, call
I'm
Clark.
Just saying, maybe at that point, maybe you just put the signal radio like in your hand, you know, and just like have your finger hovering over the button just in case you're gonna need it.
Right.
I don't know.
What was she thinking? She's like, well, he's probably doing the laundry right now, so I don't want to interrupt that. Then he, last time I interrupted him during laundry, he put the whites with the darks. It's got to stay on point.
The cape, the red from the cape just completely made everything red. It's just all my whites turned pink. It's a disaster.
That was my other thing I was thinking about. Clark is very concentrated on being a good dad, but when he's sitting there talking with Lois about her story, and he's been doing this the last couple episodes, I start thinking, well, Clark was a reporter too. Is he ever going to like join up with the Gazette? Even
he was a reporter like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So is the show just going to make Lois the sole reporter?
Maybe.
Just so she can have her own plots
and that way his job is a little bit more clear cut, as like the same way that like she's a mom and she's a reporter. It's like he's a dad and he's Superman, and like those are their jobs.
Right. Yeah. So on the TV, it was playing a show called the Witty Banter Show.
Yes.
Okay. I saw this IMDb trivia, which didn't make any sense because it looks like it's grammatically incorrect. It says Witty Banter is a victim's character who has appeared in numerous DC Comics titles. And I Googled, I searched, I even went on Twitter, and there was a couple people who were like, did you catch the Witty Banter joke? and I'm assuming it's comics related. I was praying that you knew more about this.
I've got to be honest. I'm not familiar with witty banter as a character. I mean, I just took it as like like okay, witty banter, like what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're definitely more witty.
Well, you're more cheesy.
If somebody knows about this witty banter, I'm dying to know about it. Please write in and tell us. Even like if there's a comic to look up or anything like that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I'd love to know if it's a reference to what it's a reference to.
Yeah. So yeah, Lois shows that the pen is mightier than the sword, and we have this photographer that we saw earlier taking pictures. We assume at this point he's the person that firebombed the car,
right?
And now he is here to dispose of Sharon Powell. But little does he know, she has a nice signal to Superman. And holy cow, do we see a nice Superman fight, huh?
That's got to be the coolest Superman entrance that I've seen in years, where he just like the second she hit the button on the ELT, he just bursts through the wall, sonic boom, he comes charging through the wall, like knocks her out of the way to safety and goes straight for the guy in a way that can only be described in the way that John Mulaney imitated Harrison Ford saying, "That's my wife." I didn't kill my wife.
Right.
You know, like just...
And you're not going to do it either.
Yeah. Wow. Like just, that was one of the coolest Superman entrances I've seen in years. And I loved it.
It was so great. I'm still wondering how the ELT works. What does ELT stand for, show? You have not told us this yet.
Electrons, lettuce, and tomato. They kind of got lazy
that's
halfway through.
No cheese on that?
Well, not for everybody. Some people are dairy free,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I'd love to hear how this thing works and to see Clark react to it. Like, it was a split second. He is suddenly out the door dressed as Superman. And I mean, this is what he does, but I just wanted to see it from the other side. Just all of a sudden he's sitting there like flipping through the TV and just like beep, beep, gone.
Totally.
Does he use a door? Does he use a window? But whatever. Those are minuscule, stupid things. And meanwhile, we're talking about an awesome fight. Yeah. So this guy puts up a heck of a fight.
Boy, does he.
I was surprised how strong he was.
No kidding. The whole time I'm like, all right, if he's this strong, then it's either he's not human or he's magic. And I don't see any indication of magic. So he's not human, or he's supercharged human somehow.
Or he's like got kryptonite on him, which brings Superman down to his level.
Right.
Even though he's much taller. That was a pretty funny side view when we see how tall this guy is compared to Superman.
Yeah, because it's a pretty stark. It's a pretty stark difference.
One of my favorite shots of this episode is this guy. He's beaten Superman down to the ground, and Superman just kind of collapses a little bit on the floor, and the guy just kind of turns around and is about to go after Lois again. And Lois just like yells Superman, and she's talking about the fact that Sharon is got wire wrapped around. She needs to get to a hospital.
Yeah.
So we see over the shoulder of this guy, we get the close up of this guy, and over his shoulder we see out of focus and looking pretty irritated Superman rising up behind him, like so cool.
Oh, so
cool. And then we think we're going to see a big slugfest, and really, really funny. I watched this episode with my wife, and she, right before he did it, she yelled out, why doesn't he just use his super breath?
Uh,
I'm like, yes,
yeah,
I've trained you well.
there you go.
But the super breath freezing him shut and then uppercutting him while he's frozen. I was expecting him to burst into pieces.
Yep.
And just the whole, he like throws him up like a rag doll and just punches him through a wall and out into the parking lot. So, yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Derek is wondering, this is another note he had for us. What's up with his powers? Is it possible that Superman's DNA is being utilized in Edge's goons, including, of course, the one we see later? Like, that's the other thing. Like magic, he could be holding kryptonite, or he could be some sort of genetic manipulation.
Yeah, I do wonder about that. I do wonder if there's something more to it than that. Something like using DNA or cloning, or what could he be doing?
Yeah. Now, I don't know. I guess it's not really a spoiler because I think we're supposed to assume that he's dead at the end of this episode. So
I think so.
In the he's billed, this character's billed as Subject 11, and they use a K instead of a C.
Yes. Yes. So Subject, I don't know of a Subject 11, but there is a Subject 17, and Subject spelled with a K. That was a kind of like what they did with Doomsday on Smallville, where it's like he came at the same time as Clark and landed and went like the opposite path as Clark did. Subject 17 was in like the 90s and maybe up into the early 2000s until Infinite Crisis, when they reset the continuity again. But Subject 17 was a similar thing where like he's an alien that fell to Earth but landed in Soviet Kazakhstan instead of in the US. So that's why Subject spelled
very nice.
K. Yeah, yes, exactly. My wife. And he was experimented on by the Russian scientists, and was carried anger and hatred for the human race because of that, and went on the warpath. And so he was sort of a Superman villain. I think he only appeared a couple times. But so Subject 17 is a thing, and definitely bears a resemblance to this Subject 11. So I wonder if there is some, if they're pulling from that source material.
Yeah. And I was so, we'll get to it. Anyway, this guy, by the way, is played, I just want to shout it out, and people are very screaming. He's played by Daniel Cudmore, who played Colossus in the X-Men movies. And
bringing it back to Russia.
Yeah, and he was also on several of the DC shows. He played Jackhammer on Arrow. He played Gridlock on The Flash, and he played Minotaur on Legends.
This guy is a Vancouver legend, apparently. He's just all over the place.
Yeah.
All the Vancouver filming projects.
So what else happens here? We see that at the Gazette, Christie has a bulletin board. It's got clippings and photos of this Morgan Edge story. He's trying to make sense of it all. Would you say it's a wall, or is it like a board?
I don't know, but it's weird.
It is weird. Anyway.
It is, though. Yeah. It's like the Charlie Day meme.
Yeah. We definitely need some more red yarn.
Yes.
But yeah, it looks like Lois and Christie are now on the same page. And, besides publishing recipes and crossword puzzles, they'll look into Morgan Edge, this terrible crime syndicate that he seems to be in charge of. So anyway, yeah, what was surprising to me about Subject 11 is the fact that he gets disposed of at the end of this episode. Like, he's dead, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
He's either dead or a puddle.
Or he's gonna come back with a kryptonite heart or something, because or a kryptonite head. I don't see how he walks away from that. But then again, if you don't see the body, they're not dead. And sometimes even if you do see the body, they're not dead.
So he fails once and he's taken care of. Like, I was just like, wow, Morgan Edge, a little bit of a.
Maybe he's thought to be too compromised because they've seen his face, or because they know too much about him or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it just seemed to be really quick to the kill off a super strong, like,
I know.
Which makes me think, okay, so maybe there's more. Is there only 11, or is 11 a low number?
Right. Is
I'll just send another subject out.
11 so far.
Yeah. So we didn't actually give her a name. Didn't even realize that this was the character, but Leslie Larr was Morgan Edge's assistant that kind of gave Lois a bit of sass on her way out the door. And I was thinking, oh, who's this girl?
Yeah. Yeah, the one who said, like, you'll never beat him or whatever. Yeah, Larr. You know, the way they said her name over the phone, over the radio, whatever it was, Larr, take him out. I almost thought that he said Lara, which is Superman's birth mother back on Krypton. And I was like, no, that's not like Lara reincarnated or something. They wouldn't.
Oh my.
But no, it's Larr. It's Leslie Larr is her name. Yeah, I wonder what that's about. Seeing that, right? That's what makes you wonder if there's like some kind of DNA sequencing going on, or cloning, or what's happening. Like what's happening, where are these powers coming from? Because that was clearly a Kryptonian style ocular discharge, as far as we've seen on the show. That she uses to take out Subject 11. So
it was red.
It was red. It was red. So where'd she get that?
Yeah, I honestly think that, we're onto something here. But I definitely, I want like I don't know. I definitely want a flashback episode, or I don't know, it to be more explained. I guess it's episode 3, so we'll find out eventually. But it makes me go, what's going on here?
What if Edge is like developing these powers as like a weapon for the military, and Sam Lane is secretly on it but not telling Clark?
Yeah, that sounds like a plot line of Superman and Lois that could definitely happen.
Right.
Yeah, I'm very interested. It also makes me think, this again goes back to one of my initial like worries about this show, which is, Superman has been on Earth for years and years and years. So now I'm kind of like shaky on like, well, what exactly has happened? Were there other did Zod show up at some point? So is that a way to get Kryptonian DNA?
Sure.
Who knows about kryptonite?
It's unclear. It's unclear how much of Supergirl is still canon after Crisis, but there was the whole thing with all the Kryptonians and all the Daxamites that were out there.
Right.
So there's plenty of superpowered people to steal DNA from, and there's people know about kryptonite. Again, if Supergirl is to be trusted as a source, villains on that show know about kryptonite and use it against her. So it's a pretty well-known thing in the world, but is that still canon? Hard to say. People think Lex Luthor's a good guy, on this earth. So all bets are off.
But we haven't heard his name on this show yet. So
even more confusing.
Very disconcerting. Leslie opens her phone at the end and says, "It's done. I'll call the team."
Mm-hmm.
So more. And why is she calling the team?
I figured that was like she's calling a team to dispose of the car. Like they have a cleanup team that comes in and destroys evidence at crime scenes and stuff.
Right. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay,
or they want to play baseball. Because their dads wouldn't let them when they were kids. So you know what? Now we're going to play. Damn it. Dad.
So Leslie Lar is played by Stacey Farber, and she was one of the main cast members for Degrassi: The Next Generation. I think she played Counselor Troy. She also recurred on Saving Hope, which are the lovely Erica Durance. That was her post Smallville.
Yeah, that's right.
Show.
That's right. So after she was done with Degrassi, so after she was done with Jake from State Farm on his show, then she went to
Jake from State Farm is from Degrassi.
No, but Drake is on the State Farm commercials now.
Oh, Drake from State Farm?
Yes,
oh my God.
Drake from State Farm, yes.
I'm very confused.
Yeah.
According to IMDb trivia, by the way, Stacey, who plays Leslie, says her favorite film is Old School. So there you go.
Does Stacey's mom have it going on?
If the song is to be believed, yes.
Okay.
All right. So our C plot, the one that we have to talk about the Cushings and their drama. What are you thinking about
The Cushings?
Yeah,
catching up with the Cushings. So they're an interesting family, because Sarah clearly resents that she's in therapy and that her mom is like sort of putting her through these paces for Lana's doing this for her own comfort, right? Like it's less about what's good for Sarah and more about like what makes Lana feel in control of the situation. And like Lana's cheering the coaching the cheering team, and Sarah quits on the spot.
I had to laugh when I saw that when we go to cheerleading practice, and of course Lana Lang is in charge.
Of course, it's Lana Lang. Like 5, 6, 7, 8.
You know, it's really funny. She's counting it off. She's going 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7, 8, and then she goes, "What's with the timing?"
It's like, I was like, you're the problem.
Yeah,
you can't count.
You haven't said 6.
I know. Yeah, that was kind of a weird exchange, right? Where they're like fighting in front of the rest of the cheerleading squad, and then again at the diner when they like fight again in public, and
oh my
Sarah's
gosh.
like, "Whatever you can say to me, you can say to the Kent boys who I met 3 weeks ago." And
well, she's known them for a while,
I guess, but like they only became friends when they moved, when they came for the funeral and then moved. So their dynamic is interesting, but it is okay. They've got the whole fight at the diner where Sarah really gives it to her, and she's like, "Dad sleeps on the couch. My younger sister Sophie's a bully at school.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go to bed without a pill. Like our family is a dumpster fire. You're trying to pretend it's perfect, but it's like nowhere near perfect." Which like they were both wrong in that conversation, but like maybe Lana was a little bit more wrong. But like to Lana's defense, like maybe Sarah didn't need to like spill the dirty laundry in front of the whole town, because like in a town like Smallville, whatever you hear at the diner, like that spreads like wildfire. Like, did you hear what happened down at Victoria Mays today?
Yeah, it's so funny. She says out loud, I mean, it's not funny. She yells out, she says, "Because you think I'm going to kill myself?" And I'm just waiting to hear like a record scratch from like the jukebox in the diner. And oh, there it is. And I am sorry for anybody who just got into a car accident.
Sorry.
So, and we also learned this week that little Sophie's being a bully.
Turns out, just like her dad.
Nothing is more telling than that dinner scene. I was so angry.
I know. It's so it really was. It was a very telling scene, and like so much of their family dynamic from what we were told in dialogue and what we saw at the dinner scene. Like you got a great picture of what the Cushing household is like, and it's not fun.
And Lana sitting at the head of the table, she's got a whole spread. I'm assuming that she made. I don't assume that. I mean, of course, Kyle is good around the barbecue, but I'm assuming he doesn't like throw in in the kitchen.
He doesn't seem like he's like super willing to help out, or like it's not even helping. It's just like be a member of the household.
Yeah, he's got a TV set up behind, off to the right of Lana. Lana is clearly sitting where she's not interested in watching the TV. He's sitting there with his beer watching a game.
Right. Right.
And of course, little mean Sophie is sitting there on her phone. Poor Lana just wants to have a family moment.
Right. Right.
And when Sarah refuses to eat with them, what does Kyle do? Lana looks directly at Kyle, and Kyle just takes a roll. Goes back to looking at the TV.
I don't need to be a parent in this house. It's fine. It's your job. I just watch football.
Well, from Kyle's point of view, from what we've learned in that opening scene with them in the truck, it's been a year, and Kyle thinks that we're all good, and Lana's just being overbearing, and so he's probably thinks that this is your fault. You deal with it.
Sure.
Which is not a marriage.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an equal partnership at all. Yeah, but ultimately, the conversation that Lana and Sarah do have when they both open up to each other a little bit, when Lana lets down her, because Lana really is showing a lot of need to control things, even in the we're gonna have a perfectly set dinner table, and we're all gonna sit down and we're gonna have a family dinner together, and it's gonna be great. And it's she's trying to create this reality that is just not that family, right. But she's trying to sort of force it into being. And who can blame her? Because who doesn't want their life to be who doesn't have some vision of what they thought their life would be, and you want to try to bring it closer to that if you can, right? We've all got things that we wish went differently and whatnot. And for Lana, some of us more than others. And for Lana, a lot of things didn't go the way she thought they might. And so she's trying to sort of, okay, well, we have the perfect family, and we sit down every night, we have a nice dinner, and we talk, and we love each other, and we laugh and blah. But even though what's blatantly obvious all around her is that okay, the one kid is being bullied. Her other kid struggles with mental health issues, and her husband is trying to watch baseball over her shoulder instead of having dinner. So once she lets go of that control, that need for control, and is kind of vulnerable with Sarah opens up too. Sarah suddenly is okay, if we're gonna have this conversation in a way that you're actually trying, you actually are being thoughtful about what is going to help me, then I'll engage. Mm-hmm. And they have, they acknowledge that there's distance between them, but Sarah's having a tough time, and she opens up about her struggles with feeling trapped by her family, feeling trapped by this town, things that she told Jordan in the pilot, right? She's finally feeling that she can tell her mom. And they end in a pretty good place where Lana realizes where she's been wrong, about trying to.
She's called the most full of crap lady in Smallville by her daughter, and she's like, you know what, I am full of crap.
I know, I love that. I mean,
it's sad, but it's sad. And she says it's just how she was raised,
right?
So
right. I feel like we all know that person who wants to have the perfect little life and almost pretends like they do for their own sort of they need to keep up this image for themselves. Because if they don't have that, then they feel like they don't have anything.
I just feel like at least she's putting forth some effort in this family.
I mean, But Sarah, I think, brings out this good side of her. That's okay, it's great that you want those things, and it's great that you're trying to make this family into make this family a happier place to be. But also acknowledge the reality that maybe some of the things you're doing to make yourself feel better don't actually make the situation better. They just make you feel you're just in denial about what's really happening, pretending that I don't have the issues I have, or pretending that the issues that our family has don't exist isn't solving anything. And they both sort of admit that they're faking their way through it, and they're just trying to figure stuff out. It's that moment that we all have where we realize everyone, all adults are just faking their way through life all the time.
We really are.
No one knows what they're doing. We're all just my parents have been pretending this whole time. I'm 16. I'm not prepared to hear this. It's that moment, but in a much more warm, fuzzy, TV friendly way.
And I think we're going to go on a interesting, journey with Sarah. I think Sarah, she's been on the cheer squad. She's been with Sean, and her family life is miserable. And that led her to almost killing herself. And she sees that she was unhappy and she is unhappy. So she's going to have to start doing things that are going to make her happy.
Mhm.
And number one was, leaving the cheer squad. Number two is dumping Sean.
And
now
number 3
she's
is buying the Talon.
You mean Victoria Mays?
Yeah, Victoria Mays.
Or wait, the Sequoia, is that
yeah,
what
right,
the movie
right.
theaters? Yeah, it looks like a great coffee place. But I think she's going to and she's now going to go to Jordan's game, which, so I'm assuming a relationship is going to crop up, but
Sure.
Hopefully she doesn't get too out of control. We'll see.
Yeah, it ended on a promising note, so it leaves me hoping that they will continue that path and that this is the beginning of a rebuilding of their relationship.
Yeah, and I definitely felt for Lana, where she was just like, we were so close before.
I know. It made me want them to get back to that place.
Yeah. And then they have a nice hug at the end. We can't go any further out of the Lana plot line, though, without talking a little bit about Clark got to have a scene with Lana, and it's so funny when he's coming into the diner and she's exiting, and when he goes, Lana, like, I'm immediately transported to other Superman properties, I will say.
Yeah.
But then she's like, not now, Clark.
I know. Yeah, it is very much like that. Hey, by the way, Derek pointed this out too, and I noticed it myself during that scene when Clark runs into Lana outside the bank and they walk down the street, Main Street. There was a shop. There was a shop that said Teague.
Yeah.
Teague
Hardware.
Teague Hardware, I think it was. Yeah, as in Jason Teague, as in a certain other Smallville, a certain other Superman show, season 4, as in Jensen Ackles. So no, that was
keep your eye out for any stained glass. Any changes.
Yeah, but yeah, that was a fun little Easter egg.
Mm-hmm. I love Clark's line. Oh, I left my keys. It's Smallville.
Yeah, I know. It's fine. Whatever.
I think I've raced past a couple of things in our A plot. I just wanted to mention a couple more things before we seem to be wrapping up this.
Go for it.
Number one, super happy to see Clark in beige Carhartt.
Oh, sure, yeah.
That's a Jonathan Kent jacket. Oh yeah, the coach. What do we think about that coach?
I
was not very happy with him, but
I kind of wondered if he was going to be like somebody who Clark knew when he was in high school. Maybe they were students together or something.
Yeah.
But no, just different guy altogether. Yeah, apparently he has no issue with like two kids picking to like just beat up on each other. He's just like, who do you want to pile drive into the ground?
Right. Yeah, I was like,
dealer's choice.
Is this really a football thing? Like, okay, two kids stand across from each other to run full force into each other. Like,
two kids enter, one kid leaves.
Yeah. But how he turns on Jonathan, young Jonathan, I should say, really, really upset me. I'm like, what the heck kind of guy? I thought he was like, oh, this is the quirky coach role. We see this in several teen, dramas or whatever.
No, he's hard. He makes Jonathan run laps because he didn't tell him, because he held out on him about Jordan. Like, whoa.
Yeah, he called Jordan your little brother Ronnie Lott.
Yes.
I do have a fun fact about Ronnie Lott. He for those who don't know, he was a football player, played for the 49ers, great tackler, great interceptor. Apparently he lost the tip of his pinky finger when it was crushed during an interception. A doctor offered to graft it back on, but he would have had to sit out games for like 2 seasons. So he's just like, leave it off. And most importantly, of course, he is one of the best characters to play in Tecmo Bowl.
Naturally.
Ever played that?
Naturally.
That's
the other wild story, though. Like, he would rather, keep my finger. It's fine.
Leave it off. I'd rather play football. The other interesting thing to me is, if you notice the jersey numbers, Jonathan has been playing with 12, and then all of a sudden out comes Jordan with the number 24. So what? He's trying to say he's twice the football player that Jonathan is? Or?
I kind of noticed that too, and I was like, am I reading too much into that? But I'm glad you caught it as well, because it makes me feel less alone in this overthinking world.
Well, if you're worried about obsessing too much about numbers, the guy who wrote this episode also co-wrote the famous Lost episode called Numbers.
Oh, geez.
Which are all about the mysterious numbers.
The famous lost numbers.
But oh yeah, the coach is played by Danny Watley, who is another huge Vancouver actor. He's in everything. He was in Watchmen. He played Huge Prisoner. He was also Sergeant Bingsley in season 7 of Arrow. He was a deputy in the Smallville episode Rogue, and he's been on the 4 longest running shows in Vancouver: Smallville, X-Files, Stargate, and Supernatural. So yeah,
there's some very prolific Vancouver actors in this whole show, but in this episode in particular, we got a bunch of them.
That's why I just love Vancouver shows. After visiting it once, I'm like spotting locations every time, we're, not as much here, but in other shows for sure. I mean, most of the stuff shot here is on their set that they built.
Yes.
So
yeah.
But and it goes for the actors as well. Their actors are just the same actors throughout all these different shows.
They make the rounds. Rounds. Yeah. Well, before we close things out, why don't we take this time to take some feedback? You can email us anytime. You can head on over to supermantvtalk.com and hit the contact link and send us emails. This one comes from Sarah, who says, "Can't wait to hear your thoughts on this last episode. I'm really loving the show and how they're treating Clark and Lois as individuals and as a unit." Mm-hmm. I agree, Sarah. Yeah, I think it's fantastic the way they've painted that marriage as a team and as a partnership, an equal partnership, and their individual pursuits. And I love the way they've done that too. Mm-hmm. Sarah goes on to say, "I'm really impressed by the writing, character work, and performances. I've been a long time listener dating back to the Smallville days. We put on old episodes of Shoe to help me get in a better mood, and I can already tell the Superman and Lois podcast will be another comfort podcast for me. Really appreciate everything you guys do." Well, thank you, Sarah.
Wow, thank you.
That's high praise. Thank you very much.
We're both sitting on Derek's shoulders, so sorry he's not here this week.
yeah. I mean, but like I listened to old Smallville Shoe episodes for fun as well when I needed something to laugh at or whatever, and so I really appreciate that. Thank you. Well, we'll be talking about the trailer for next week's episode 104, Haywire. But if you don't want to get spoiled on that, thank you so much for listening. We love you all. We'll be back next week to talk about Haywire, but you can find us at supermantvtalk.com, supermantvtalk@gmail.com, at supermantvtalk on Twitter. And Robin, you're live tweeting every Tuesday with the East
every
Coast
Tuesday.
Show.
Yes.
So tweet along with Robin every Tuesday for the rest of March, and then as the show comes back in May and beyond after hiatus, at Superman TV Talk on Twitter. We're on Instagram at Starkville House of L. And don't forget to subscribe or follow us on your favorite podcatcher, whether that's Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Stitcher or Amazon or wherever. Or you'd want to talk to your voice assistant and tell them to play Superman and Lois TV Talk. We're in all those places, so go ahead and do those. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. That means so much to us, and it helps folks find the show, and it makes our day. So thank you for everyone who's done that. And huge props, as always, to our buddy Craig over at Krypton site, K-Site TV, and specifically, he's got a whole segment of the site, whole section of the site devoted to Superman and Lois, and a Twitter handle to go with that, at Superman Lois TV. Craig does amazing work in Superman fandom and has for decades now. Since he's been running fan sites since the Lois and Clark days, since the late 90s.
Right. Yeah. And he's also live tweeting on those Tuesday nights as well. As a matter of fact, was a couple times when we both kind of tweeted the same thing, and I sent him the classic Spider-Man pointing at each other gif. But thank you, Craig.
Love it. Great minds. Great minds. All right, stick around for spoilers and audio from next week's trailer. But until next time,
we're always around.
When your dad gets distracted, lives are at stake.
Any dad is not the only one that can do this.
You would never hurt anyone. It was an accident.
You can't tell them not to come to me for help.
I don't like his priorities changing.
It's called being a father.
Well, that was the audio for next week's trailer 104, Haywire.
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 Hey. Why are you here?
So, of course, this is obviously related to the fact that we're in Smallville, Kansas, and there's a lot of hay around. And there might be some wires. Yeah, that should be interesting. Yeah. I mean, like, honestly, farming is probably going to be a huge topic next week.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And wires. Don't forget, like, listen, hay, wire, you go to the barn to find the router. You find the wires in the hay. It all.
Do they use hay as wires?
Probably.
I think they only do that in like the Avatar movies.
I wouldn't know. I don't. Yeah. I haven't had time to watch all 9 of them.
I've watched them all in the future.
Nice. What do you want to read the description for us for this next episode?
Truth. While sitting in the stands at the the episode, the description starts with the word truth in capital letters. That's why. While sitting in the stands at the high school football game, Lois and Chrissy spot fish out of water Morgan Edge conversing with Mayor Dean and Kyle Cushing, and the two see right through this insincere move to try to win over the town. Fun fact, she also saw them talking to each other in the pilot. So it might not be such a surprise. Morgan likes football. Meanwhile, Clark agrees to help Lois out at a town hall meeting, but things get tense when he finds himself pulled in 2 different directions. Lastly, Jonathan is having mixed emotions about Jordan's newfound status.
Yeah.
Well, these are descriptions of episodes we've already watched.
A little bit. Yeah. Yeah, it is. With the town hall meeting, with the people conversing, with the twins.
Clark being pulled in 2 different directions.
Jonathan having mixed emotions about Jordan's powers.
Yeah. We saw all this.
Yeah, I feel like it's a clip show. It's a clip show of the season so far.
Episode 4, the clip show. Subtitle, more of the same.
Yeah. Watch the extended cut on the CW app.
I will say 2 things that we can key into. The name of the episode is called Haywire. And that usually means something going crazy or whatever. Sure. And the fact that this is directed by James Bamford, who is a well-known Arrowverse action director. People who watch Arrow know that James Bamford is directing an episode. It usually means some stuff's about to go down.
Yeah, so. It's an action-packed episode. And from what we saw in this trailer, like, we see the twins seemingly stranded somewhere in like the woods, and one of them says to the other, like, Dad is not the only one who can get us out of this. Makes you wonder how they get into that situation.
Could they call Grandpa Sam?
I wonder if they call Grandpa Sam.
Or just Lois. I don't know.
We saw that clip again that we had seen in the trailer that aired after the pilot, and the special that aired after the pilot, and they showed that sort of full season trailer of like highlights from the season. And there's that scene where Lois is talking to Sam, and she's like, "It's called being a father." And she's clearly defending Clark, defending something Clark had done. But the implication is like, it's called being a father, like, something you wouldn't know about, Dad. So she's going to throw something back in his face. So yeah, it's an interesting that apparently this is where that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And a name like Haywire, this is, to be clear, I'm not suggesting this is why it's called Haywire, but I do weirdly associate the word Haywire with Superman, because I think the first time I ever heard that term was in one of the Fleischer cartoons as a kid.
Really?
Where someone's like, "Oh, the whole thing's gone haywire," and I was like, "I don't know what that means, but it sounds bad."
See,
30s
I immediately
30s
was
reporter.
I was immediately thinking like, oh, wasn't that the DJ that got like charged with electricity? Like, no, that's Livewire.
Yep,
So I was wrong about that. Also, we missed it, like we said, Sam Lane's going to be in the next week's episode, but Wole Parks is also billed as being Captain Luther wasn't around in episode 3, but he's back. Maybe he's the guy that Jonathan and Jordan call.
Ooh. Who you gonna call?
I don't know.
Cap Luther.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But
very interesting. Yeah. Do you have any other insights about this episode, or any other thoughts?
No, but I do pick on it because they always release these episode description. It's just like, it sounds like a episode of All American or an episode of Everwood or whatever, and it always turns out to be something that I mean, I've watched this last episode 3 times already, and it didn't even have Captain Luther in it.
Right.
So
interesting stuff. Well, we'll be here to cover all of it next week, and if we're lucky, Derek will be back from his assignment. He'll be found. He won't be missing anymore, and he'll have turned in his assignment, and all this money we're spending for him to go doing investigative journalism will finally have paid off.
As long as he promises to cover the Harvest Festival next time.
I hope so.
Good.
Yeah. Cause I was happy to listen. I was happy to give him the money I was going to spend on a house, but
these hot shot reporters, let me tell you,
I know.
You got to constantly keep them calm and satiated.
It's too much. It's too much. All right, folks, we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. We're always around.
Until we're not.